Welcome to back nine coverage of the 2020 Feather Frenzdemic. We'll be following the FPO lead card here as they finish up the final round. This is Mr. Glista, joined here by competitor Allison Pearn.
Hi guys!
We've also got Valerie Mandujano leading the way at 12 under par, followed closely by Sarah Gilpin and Alexis Mandujano, and we've got Allison rounding out the pack at 2 under.
Alrighty guys, this is hole 10 or hole 4 at the Canyons. It is one of the coolest holes on the park. You are throwing downhill and it is a hyzer shot over to the left if you're a right-hand backhand player. It's about 375 feet with a guarded basket and some dangerous OB right behind it.
And before we get to the lead card, check out Casey Glade here, ripping this drive off the tee, setting herself nicely for a 2 look. Very impressive. She's the only female on the day to take a 2 on that hole. Almost plays like a par 4. Very difficult.
You're good. You're good. Wow, that's got some honey. Oh, that's coming right forward.
Nice drive here from Sarah. Settles down right where she wants it to. It's going to have a longer upshot to go, but she'll take the par there. Allison's drive gets a bit faded earlier than you wanted to, but it hits and stays down before fading into the foliage there. Here's Alexis lining up her drive. Get some nice speed on that down the fairway. Little finish and she'll have an upshot too. Valerie did tee off first on this hole, though I missed it as I was setting up my camera. Here's Allison trying to scramble from this strange position. Leaves it short, which is a common thing to do with the creek right behind that basket OB, so touchy green to approach to here.
Yeah, and you're also contending with a lot of trees that makes it a little more difficult as well.
Oh yeah, especially from your angle. Sarah with a great putt upshot there. Valerie follows suit, or I'm sorry, Alexis follows suit. And here's Valerie. No problem from there. And you've got a real tester from up on the hill.
So close.
That was a great run.
Thank you.
Valerie takes her 3, and the others tap in. So we've got pars all around there, no change in the top 3. Allison unfortunately takes that bogey, but we'll be moving on to hole 11, where a lot of these ladies will be looking for birdie 2s.
Yes, hole 11 or hole 5 at the Canyons is either just a nice little backhand turnover or, you know, just a forehand. There's a couple of trees to contend with, and then OB water on the left side.
Here's Valerie still in control of the box with a nice forehand. And that checks up right where she needs it. Beautiful shot on this hole. And Sarah opts to forehand something a little slower. It hooks up kind of early, but still right around the circle's edge, it seems. Alexis turns this more than she wanted to, but that recovered nicely. She was really playing with the OB line there. Allison, the only one going backhand.
Is there something down there?
Get some unusual action, but that's not bad. Here from about 50 or so feet. Nice putt there.
The step putts were feeling good that day. I knew I had to, you know, get a birdie on this hole to even, you know, stay competing with these ladies. They all had a good look for 2.
That's a big one bouncing off that bogey on the last hole. Sarah also with a great birdie at circle's edge. Or just beyond circle's edge, I'd say. This whole card putts so well. It's really hard to tell how far away they are, but they're making these amazing putts look easy.
And this is my favorite moment of the tournament. I was just so tired at this point, and Sarah and her boyfriend were nice enough to help me carry my cart up the steps because it gets heavy, and it was one of those heart-touching, heartwarming moments for me.
Yeah, Sarah and Andrew were sweethearts the whole time. And that's a star frame from our competitors here. 2s all around. That drops Valerie to a 13 under for the round. 13 under for the tournament. Very impressive setting the pace there.
And hole 12 or hole 6 at the canyons, this hole has 2 baskets. We are playing to the one on the right. It's 300 feet, but it is so guarded by trees. As you can see from this shot, there's you gotta kind of just pick a line and hope for it.
Yeah, go with your strength. Either a forehand turnover that's gonna flex out like Valerie's trying here. Gets a nice flare skip, and that punches in a bit, but even that's much farther from the basket than it looks. It's pretty inaccessible. And Sarah tries a similar line. Oh, punches through quite a bit. She might have a look. And just like last hole, we've got 3 forehands to lead it off. Varying degrees of success, but you can't really be hoping for too much on this one. And Allison goes with the lone backhand.
And turns it way over.
Oh yeah, that's not coming back.
Yeah, no, that was not my best shot, and neither was this one. Yeah, one of those moments that you just cringe, especially knowing it's on camera, but I messed with my footing for a long time and just couldn't figure it out.
Yeah, tough spot to throw that up shot. Alexis with a good long putt, just laying it up. And that was a really good run.
I wanted to go for it. I was trying to save that par, just not close enough.
Yeah. Sarah 2, that's 3 right up there for the tap-in. Valerie trying to get that solo bird. Oh, good effort, a little short. And everyone will tap in for the par, oh, except Allison, but saving their pars on this hole, it's a tough one. So there are the scores after hole 12, 3 holes into this back 9. Not a lot of change going on. Valerie's still got a commanding 3-stroke lead.
All right, and this is hole 13 or hole 6A at the canyons. It's a pretty long hole, as you can see, 482 feet. You have OB Creek on the left and a Mando on the right that you have to get past.
Yeah, gotta keep it narrow on this hole. Tricky tee shot. Valerie goes for that hyzer on the right side, and that pans out nicely, setting her up to get around that Mando and attack the green. Alexis trying a similar line. And a good result. You have room to fade out over there before you get in danger with that creek.
Unless you miss your line like me. And unfortunately, I was trying to go for that right-hand side, kind of, just missed my line, came out early. Luckily, it was safe, though.
Yeah, that creek was especially dry today, so had room to fall in it. There's Lauren Lakeberg, the disc golf photographer, along with Vernon Manning, volunteer spotting out there, and we really appreciate it. You'll hear him as this hole progresses. Sarah had an interesting kick off that forehand. It actually knocked it left, tried to fade through it, but she'll be fine. Oh my gosh. Hits the Mando tree.
And there's Vern just cheering me on, knowing that that one hurt a little bit.
Hey, good result. Sarah throws a nice backhand turnover. Is it going to sit in bounds?
There you go.
Just barely. Good touch there. And that's how you go for the 3 on this hole, but it's a little bit short of where she wants it to be to really take a confident putt. Valerie trying the same, threads it through. Ooh, but that's a big skip, and it's going to put her down in that creek bed. And you might need to rewind to see exactly how that got where it did.
Oh, man.
That was incredible. Smart layup putt from Sarah. Ooh, kind of a half bid there. Smart play from Alexis. Valerie, this is where she ended up with that forehand approach. Little long. Coming back uphill with this.
So close.
Yeah, it looked like it. It's tough with those uphill putts when you're used to putting with a little bit of hyzer because it'll bite more than you expect, and she's kind of faded it out, but saved that four, no problem.
Really took my time on this putt because I was super grateful that I landed there for an easy par after the journey of that hole for me.
Yeah, take what you're given.
Yeah.
Go get him. All right.
And we got fours all around, aside from an unfortunate 5 from Sarah, which you especially hate to see after all the work she's done catching up, but there's still plenty of disc golf left.
14 or 6E at the Canyons. It's just kind of a straight tunnel shot through some trees. It's 258 feet. We're all hoping to birdie this. Let's see him.
And Valerie just pipes it. That's her bread and butter, are those straight shots. A nice little hyzer flip up there. Alexis gets faded a bit short of the hole. And Allison, oh, good thing that turned. You'll have a nice look from there. Sarah swings it a bit wide, but that's got some finish on it, and she's actually CTP.
Rolls right up to the basket.
Yep. Alexis with a quick upshot there. Valerie looking for this to broaden her lead. A little underturned, hit the left side there. Allison connects for a great birdie. Alexis saves that 3. And Sarah with a tap-in deuce, well done. So a little bit of action here. Sarah getting that birdie and bringing the gap back within 3 strokes for first place. Allison also taking a birdie and dropping back to 2 under.
All right, guys, hole 15 or hole 9 at the Canyons. We're playing the B pin. So it is just, for a backhand player, it's an ante shot, or you can just flick something right up there.
Yeah, this is kind of an awkward basket to get to from the original tee. It's a very harsh right turn, but that was a great job navigating it with that backhand there.
Thank you. And it's 290 feet, so this one is, a little bit longer for us. So it is an interesting hole.
Yep. And Sarah shows you how to get it done with a forehand. As you can see, the basket dwelling on the left side there. It's a very harsh dogleg right finish. Oh, and she hits a tree early. Alexis smokes this thing forehand. A lot of action, and that's not a bad place to end up. Oh, you hate to see that. Valerie gets a little bit tight with that upshot. Alexis sneaks one up forehand. And Sarah's got a tester. Oh, not a bad play. Long par save attempt from Valerie. Glances off the top. Allison's got her own look at 2. Almost flexed it in there. Now this was interesting. Valerie decides to drop down to the knee for this. Takes her time. It's kind of awkward from those bushes. Makes it count. And that's actually Sarah's disc that she was right next to. So Sarah opts for the same knee, says, she made it look good, why can't I? And they both take their pars along with Alexis there. Oh, I'm sorry, Valerie's was actually a bogey due to that upshot. So that's going to bring the lead down to 2 strokes over Sarah. It's getting tight as we've got 3 holes to go in the back 9.
All right, hole 16 is 10, or hole 10 at the Canyons. We are playing the A pin. For most of us backhand players, it's just a short little hyzer shot at 195 feet.
Well, I don't know if it's a short little. It's pretty uphill, so, I mean, you're throwing a driver here.
And I way out drove the pin.
Yeah, it's a tough disc to see, but you torched that thing.
Yeah, it's made for a tricky upshot.
Sarah puts a nice angle on this and gets it to crash perfectly at the basket. She's gonna love that when she gets up there. It's kind of tough to see the basket from the tee.
And I forgot to mention on the left-hand side of the basket, there is a steep drop-off behind the basket.
Yeah.
It's really easy to fade something too quickly and skip down that hill.
Which is exactly what Valerie ends up doing there, unfortunately. And here's Alexis. Her shot faded early and got a bit trapped in there, but a great escape putt. Good little Annie approach there. It made that look a lot easier than it seemed. You were pretty far out.
Yeah, it was tough to get around those trees.
And everyone was trying to find Valerie's disc here because it definitely took a skip and rolled quite a ways down the hill. I did not capture those attempts because I didn't want to get in their line of sight down there. But you can kind of see her on the right there. That was 1 stroke, hit a tree, trying to come back up. Oh, and she was in range for a very obstructed putt. Hits chains, but didn't stick. And Sarah, hot on her tail, takes a birdie there. That's going to be a big swing. And as you see, Valerie with that bogey, Sarah with that birdie brings them at a first place tie at 11 under par. Alexis is 3 strokes behind them, and Allison still 2 down.
Hole 17 or hole 11 at the Canyons is a nice long par 4, 538 feet. You kind of just want to stay out right on your drive to have just an easy hyzer approach to the basket.
Yeah, this is a fun hole where you can really unleash a drive without a lot of consequences unless you happen to fade hard.
Yeah, getting tucked into the left definitely makes for a hard approach shot.
Lost it on the top there, but that was a little flex out to the leftish side of the fairway. Valerie with a hyzer flip smash here. And I don't even think that's her max distance driver. That's like her safe driver, and she put some good distance on that. Oh, and that was a heck of a drive from where you were at, but as Allison stated earlier, you kind of want to land right on this fairway so that you have a more direct angle in and you don't have to rely on pure fade, although Alexis controlled that shot beautifully, checked up where she wants it. Sarah's got a great look in for this approach. And I know she wanted to put that closer. Valerie puts a bit of hyzer on this and it skips right up to the basket. Beautiful upshot.
I really wanted that one, unfortunately, just a little too much hyzer on it.
Beautiful birdie putt from Sarah. That is huge when you're tied for the lead after all that distance she's made up. Another great putt from Alexis, also taking a birdie. And Valerie with a no problem birdie really put the pressure on Sarah there to also take a 3. And that's going to keep the lead tied at 12 under par for Valerie and Sarah. Alexis is right there with her own birdie at neg 9, and Allison rounding out with a 2 down.
And hole 18 or hole 12 at the Canyons, we are playing to the A pin. It's 322 feet, but it is downhill. The green is guarded by some trees, but once again, we're all trying to birdie this one. It's definitely in our range.
Yeah. Not the easiest hole to birdie, but being so downhill, as long as you just rip one out there and let it fade to the basket as Sarah's trying here, definitely within range for this field. There's Lauren again, snapping those great photos. If you haven't had a chance to check them out, get on her Patreon or Facebook or Instagram, The Disc Golf Photographer. And she's not just covering local events. We're talking Pro Tour, PDGA, everything. Valerie's a little wide with this drive, but she'll definitely be able to scramble for a par. Alexis is putting some hyzer on this, and it fades earlier than you need it to. You gotta really let it turn, stretch that distance with your driver before it hooks up to the basket. But don't turn it that much.
Yeah, I thought that thing was gone.
Everyone's still kind of in the ballpark. This should be putt approaches or some courageous runs to the basket. And this is a big, big putt for Valerie. Loops it a little bit, but I think she left herself a pretty good range. Just barely short for Alexis. It's Valerie to save that par.
No problem.
Yeah, nice hit. That's a big one. Sarah for solo first place. And this one is a little farther than it looks on the zoomed in shot here. And in case you missed the front 9 coverage, Sarah was all over that spot, just, I mean, an inch below hopping over the cage. And that'll wrap things up for us on the back 9. Sarah and Valerie both taking 3s on that last hole, so we've got a tie at the top, and we're going to have to go to some playoff holes to determine the victor here at the Feather Frenzdemic. Here are the overall scores for the tournament. Some noteworthy things. Sarah Gilpin shooting a 6 down on the on the second round. Alexis having a bogey-free back 9.
Okay, and then this is hole 1 of the playoff, or hole 13. We went over this on the last coverage, but in case you're just tuning in for the back 9, you have either a hyzer gap or a forehand gap, and there's a very steep drop-off behind the basket that makes this a very treacherous hole.
So if you haven't seen coverage like this before, you're not too familiar with the way disc golf works. If there's a tie at the end of a sanctioned event, it's a sudden death playoff, and you play and play and play until someone comes out ahead, meaning someone takes a lower score on one of the playoff holes. So first to birdie basically takes the title. Sarah had an amazing forehand shot, really corrected from earlier this round. Valerie throws that beautiful backhand, I believe it with a Nova. And those are 2 pretty good-looking shots from the tee pad, but Sarah's ended up being pretty strong. If you catch that hill on a bad spot, it'll roll all the way down there. think that's exactly what happened as she's lining this recovery shot up.
And she made that look so much easier than it is. When you are down there, that is such a difficult shot. I'm so proud of her for that one.
Very clutch, especially in this pressure situation. And even that shot is much more difficult than she made it look. They're both in for tap-ins.
And then hole 2 or hole 14, 210 feet. You do have some OB right in front of you, but it doesn't really come into play. And
yeah, they did pretty well with this hole earlier this round.
Both definitely hoping for birdies.
Yeah, and Sarah's did not finish the way she wanted. This is actually Valerie from round 1. Or, I'm sorry, the front 9. Look how perfect this shot is. Hits the pole. Compare it to this.
I'd say she's dialed in.
Almost identical. I mean, that's the mark of a pro.
Sarah really taking her time on this putt because she knows that Valerie is so close to the basket. She has to make this one count. I hate to see it.
An awesome putt, just a bit high to stick. Bounced out there off the center pole, and Valerie for the win. Well done. There's your 2020 Feather Frenzdemic champion, Val Mandujano. Hard-fought battle. Keeping that lead and then taking it back at the end. There's your caddy, Mason. And her family for a photo with Lauren. And Dad approves.
All right, we're here with the 2020 Feather Frenzdemic champion, Valerie Mandujano. Sponsors to thank. Anything that stood out today?
Yeah, definitely. My boyfriend caddied for me for this tournament, and I'd like to thank him for that. Thank my sponsors, Innova Champion Disc, Millennium Golf Disc, Pound Disc Golf, Iceland Plastic, and my parents and family for supporting me and everyone back home.
Great. Well, thank you very much and congratulations.
Thank you.
Here's Barrett White, your FP40 champion.
Your FPO champion, Valerie Mandujano.
And tournament director Amy Leskowski presenting the victory check to Valerie. And we got this cool little podium here at Dellwood now. I dig it.
We do play a lot of tournaments here, so I'm hoping to be standing up there one of these days.
Yeah. Thanks for joining us. Hope you enjoyed this coverage of the 2020 Feather Frenzdemic. I'm Mr. Glista. Thanks for tuning in. If you missed the front 9, here's a link up on this video. You can check out my music if you'd like to support me at mrglista.com or follow me at Mr. Glista.